3rd Ukrainian Front. The initial plan of the commander of the 3rd Ukrainian Front, F.I. Talbukin, to capture Vienna was to deliver simultaneous strikes from three directions: from the southeast, by the forces of the 4th Guards Army and the 1st Guards Mechanized Corps; from the south and southwest, by the forces of the 6th Guards Tank Army with the attached 18th Tank Corps and part of the forces of the 9th Guards Army. The remaining part of the forces of the 9th Guards Army was to encircle the city from the west and cut off the enemy's retreat routes. The city itself and its approaches had been prepared in advance for defense. Anti-tank trenches were dug along the external perimeter of the city in tank dangerous directions, and anti-tank and anti-infantry barriers were established. The streets of the city were crossed by numerous barricades, almost all stone buildings were adapted for prolonged defense, and firing points were set up in the windows, basements, and attics. All bridges were mined. Defending the city were remnants of 8 tank and 1 infantry divisions from the 6th SS Panzer Army, personnel from the Vienna Military School, and up to 15 separate battalions. In addition, for participation in street fighting, the Hitler Command formed 4 regiments of 1,500 men each from the Viennese police. On April 5, Soviet troops engaged in battles on the southern and southeastern approaches to Vienna. From the very beginning, the fighting took on an exceptionally fierce character. The defending forces put up stubborn resistance, often launching counterattacks with infantry and tanks. As a result, on April 5, the 4th Guards Army, advancing on Vienna from the south, did not achieve significant success. At the same time, the troops of the 38th Guards Rifle Corps of the 9th Guards Army, advancing southwest of the city, managed to advance by 16 to 18 kilometers. In the current situation, the commander of the 3rd Ukrainian Front decided to capitalize on the emerging success and redeploy the 6th Guards Tank Army to this direction, with the task of encircling the city and striking Vienna from the west and northwest. On April 7, the main forces of the 9th Guards Army and units of the 6th Guards Tank Army, having crossed the mountainous mass of the Vienna woods, reached the Danube. Now the defending troops were encircled from 3 sides, the east, south, and west. The complete encirclement of the city was to be carried out by the 46th Army of the 2nd Ukrainian Front, which had crossed the Danube and was advancing in a northwestern direction. However, on the way to Vienna, the enemy was offering stubborn resistance. To avoid a new encirclement, the German command reinforced its troops operating against the 46th Army by redeploying additional forces from the rear and even from the Austrian capital itself. On April 8, the fighting in the city intensified once again. For every block, and often for individual houses, there were fierce clashes. During the day of fighting, the troops of the 4th and 9th Guards Armies advanced deep into the city, where they entered tactical interaction. On the same day, the 1st Guards Mechanized Corps captured Schweinergarten in the southern part of the city. In the following 2 days, the troops of the 3rd Ukrainian Front continued to advance towards the city center with combat. The fighting did not cease day or night. By the end of April 10, the enemy garrison was encircled on 3 sides, continuing to resist only in the center of the city. In the prevailing situation, the German command took all measures to maintain control over the only undamaged bridge across the Danube, the Imperial Bridge, which allowed them to withdraw their remaining units to the northern bank of the river. The Soviet command, in turn, sought to capture the bridge to prevent the enemy's retreat. To this end, on April 11, the Danube military flotilla landed troops in the area of the bridge consisting of a reinforced battalion from the 217th Guards Rifle Regiment. However, after landing, the paratroopers faced strong enemy fire and were forced to take cover, falling short of their objective by 400 meters. Having analyzed the current situation, the Military Council of the Front made the decision to conduct a simultaneous assault with all forces involved in the battles for the city. Special attention was paid to suppressing the German artillery before and during the assault. Relevant tasks were assigned to the commander of the front's artillery, Colonel General of Artillery M.I. Netherland, and the commander of the 17th Air Army, Colonel General of Aviation VEA, Cadets. By the middle of the day on April 13, as a result of a well-prepared assault, Vienna was cleared of German troops. During the battle near the Imperial Bridge, a second landing consisting of a battalion from the 21st Guards Rifle Regiment of the 7th Guards Airborne Division was deployed. The bridge had been mined by German troops, but the swift and brave actions of the paratroopers prevented the explosion. After the city was captured, Lieutenant General A. V. Blagodatov was appointed the first military commander of the city, who was soon replaced by the commander of the 33rd Guards Rifle Corps, Lieutenant General N. Lebedenko. Approximately 18,000 Soviet servicemen died during the assault on Vienna.